the parables, mind-blowing illustrations of grace. In Matthew chapter 20, the parable of, this kind of blows your mind, the parable of the workers in the vineyard. And it's about a landowner. He says, for the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire men to work in his vineyard. And he agreed to pay them a denarius for the day, and he sent them into the vineyard. Third hour came, and he saw others standing around in the marketplace, and he told them, you go and work in my vineyard as well, and I will pay you whatever is right. He went out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, and then we see him going out at the 11th hour, still found people hanging around, and he said, what are you doing, standing here doing nothing? And he said, well, no, they said no one's hired us. So he said, well, you can go and work in my vineyard as well. So evening came. The owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, call the workers, pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and then going on to the first ones. And the workers who were hired about the 11th hour came and got a denarius. So when those who were hired first and had slogged it out all day came, they expected to receive more than a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. And we have it here. These men who were hired last worked only 1 hour, they said. And you've made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day. You know, even when we're listening to this or reading this, you think, that's not fair. That kind of isn't fair. They've worked all day. It's not fair. But he answered one of them and he said, friend, I'm not being unfair to you. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the man who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I'm generous? And as we listen to that, and you think, well, if I was there, I'd feel pretty miffed. If I'd been working all day and then somebody just came along for the last hour or so and, was working, and then they got the same. We would, wouldn't we? It was a kind of a natural thing. It didn't seem fair. But it wasn't about who was finishing last or how long anybody had worked, or it wasn't about counting who'd done the most hours. It was about not counting. It was about not counting. It was the prerogative of the owner to give what he felt, what he wanted, and it wasn't for the workers to measure. It was about not counting up. They received what they said, the owner said they were going to receive, so that was fine. It wasn't unfair. It was not looking at anybody. It was just the privilege that the owner gave. And God's grace is like that. You can say, well, it was undeserved. What they earned, it wasn't deserved because it wasn't equal. But no, but God's grace is freely given even to the undeserving.
Created using Powtoon.